What do you guys think about making that our theme intro right before we go live? If you like that idea, give me a yes. If you do not like that idea, give me a no.
bensound.com.
I think I need to hit that heavy one again.
bensound.com. 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 bensound.com.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, guys? Chris with Croft CNC here. I just have to show you guys got some stuff coming through here. Hold on. Okay. All right. But I wanted to show you guys my belated birthday gift from my daughter. New coffee cup for coffee and cuts. And yes, it says what you think it says. We're going to be doing away with this big monitor here shortly. I got to find a better way to set this up so that I get this glare off of me so that I can have some good lighting and I can start modifying my area for better lighting. So did some deliveries this weekend, did some shows this weekend, had a really good turnout, a really good time. Anyways, had some really good stuff go on this weekend. We had a couple guests in here. Tomorrow's guest is actually going to be my 12-year-old daughter, Victoria. We're going to have her on, and we're going to talk about what it's like having a CNC shop at your house, especially when you have teachers that have robotics background and you actually educate them on what they're doing wrong. My daughter's awesome like that. Let's see let's change that over. There we go. So my daughter is currently taking a robotics class at school, which got canceled. Her school is on remote learning again. It's pretty crappy, but whatever. Carlos is back in Chicago, but he's on with us. We got some people already hopping on this morning. You know, we got Copperhead Mike is out there. He says yes to making High Octane our intro song. We got Carlos out there. Great morning. He needs him some of that Irish coffee. Well, Carlos, this is actually one of the topics for today. I got a lot of messages. What is my Irish coffee recipe? So a lot of people don't know, or a lot of people do know. I don't know. I lived in California for quite a few years. San Francisco area, outskirts in between San Francisco and San Jose. And while I was out there, we would visit this little cafe called Buena Vista Cafe. And with that, I was always drinking their Irish coffee. And then I moved back to Pennsylvania, and it was a Zane Lamprey show, and I forget what show it was on. Here, I'm going to tell you in just a second. Let's see here. Drinks Made Easy was the show, and he went to Buena Vista and actually documented their Irish coffee recipe. And I'm trying to pull it up right now. And this is where you can get the directions. Let's see here. The good one's over at Fisherman's Wharf because it has such a good view. But let's share this screen, and I am going to show you guys exactly how to make Irish coffee. All right. Basically, these are video clips showing you exactly how to make it. And I gotta be honest, it's one of my favorite drinks, especially fall and spring mornings. You go out there, you get some cold air in you. You got a nice hot cup of coffee, got a little shot of whiskey in there for you. You sit down, you start your Saturday morning off right. But Larry Nolan is the one that kind of shows how to do it on Zane Lampreys. Let's see if we can bring up Zane's clip. Yep. That's on his Twitter feed. Let's see here. He basically just does all of these drinking shows. Like, he's a drinking connoisseur. I myself am not. I'm not quite sure why. I think I used up all my drinking cards early in life. But my recipe for Irish coffee is 6 inches of high test, or 6 inches, 6 ounces of high test coffee. At Buena Vista, they use Peerless. I like to use something with a bold, like espresso dark roast. I put 3 cubes of sugar, 1 shot of Tullamore Dew, mix it all up in a nice hot glass, and then I aerate some heavy whipping cream and float it over the top. And that is actually all there is to it. Doesn't take a long time to make. It's not hard to make, so on and so forth. So we got our Monday morning is out there going on. I've already had a customer that I met this weekend. Hold on, I gotta give a shout out here. As you can tell, I'm not real enthusiastic on this Monday. So, okay, we're there. So anyways, this weekend, I met a gentleman that refurbishes and repops gauges for a bunch of different airplanes. And we were talking, and he's like, I heard you do screen printing. I said, yes, sir. He says, I got some screens that I need you to do. So this morning, bright and early, I get artwork and I get screens. So now I need to actually make screens for him. And that's one of the things uh it's kind of weird. That's one of the things that happens to me a lot is I'll network with people at a show, and then they'll come up with an off the wall setup and be like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this?" Well, the typical answer is not "Can I do it?" It's "Can you afford for me to do it?" Something like that. It's actually pretty simple. You know, we spread some emulsification out on a screen. We let it dry, and then from there, we typically just move forward. We put it in the exposure unit for 12 minutes and go from there, and I don't have to worry about it. So that is an easy way for me to be able to kind of move forward with that. It'll be, hold on. Excuse me. I don't have the Rona. It's an easy way for me to have something in the pipe works for when I'm slow and I want to take it on. That's something you guys find is sinuses. I feel better though. Okay. Okay. So the screen printing, that's something I do in the time when I don't really have a lot to do. I will be really slow after Christmas. I'll pretty much work on furniture for hotels, and I'll work on screen printing. I'll work on organizing my shops, stuff like that, until about February. I'll have a good month of just being down and not really paying attention to anything. I'll do large commercial signage during that time. And that's just kind of stuff that will pay the bills in the interim. Can you guys hear me now? Is that good? Son of a bitch. I got to figure out how to get that thing. I might have to tie wire around it or something, because that's going to irritate me. It shouldn't, but it's going to. Anyways, the networking idea is one of those things that, you know, we will talk more about as we move forward. But you really have to, if you're going to be in business for yourself, you have to really expand your horizons on what your availability for projects are. You know, during my January time is when I usually will do epoxy. I'll do epoxy work and stuff like that. I'll make stuff. That's when I just make stuff. I guess at this point, that's kind of beating a dead horse. Networking at shows. I did a post on some of the groups that I'm in about how I set up my booth and how I approach my customers. That seemed to go over really well. A lot of people like getting that content. Not quite sure if it's just content a lot of people don't put out, or if it's something people like to see what I do or how I do it differently. I'm not really sure, but it tended to go over real well. And as it went over, let's see, there. As it went over, a lot of people started asking questions. Whenever I set up my booth, I have a certain way that I set it up. I tried to set up my booth with some eye-catching stuff right on the corners of my booth, left and right corners. And the reason why I do that is people walking by, I want to get their attention right then and there. So I put colorful, local tie-ins right at the front of the booth on left and right front corners. Okay. And that's just to get their attention. As they pass by and I get their attention, I have what I call an elevator pitch. And it's really as simple as, hi, my name's Chris. I'm with Croft CNC. I specialize in custom cuts in metal, wood, stone, glass, and leather. If you could think it, we can make it. That's my pitch right there. If I have their visual attention, or I have their attention in the booth, then that's when I lead into my all of our steel is 16 gauge first run American steel. All of our colors are powder coated, not painted. And we basically just move on that way, and we just keep putting out how good our material is and our craftsmanship. I take my machining a little more seriously than most, in the fact that I actually make the machines that make my products. I actually build the machines that make my products. We do all of our own powder coating in-house. So if you have a custom color you'd like, we can mix a custom color for you. Stuff like that. And in doing that, you find that a lot of people like to hear your story. That's really what people are buying. People are not buying my products. My products are no better, no worse than anyone else's. I'm good at what I do, but there are people that are better, and I'm nowhere near the top echelon. I hope one day to be recognized as that, but right now I'm not. And with that, what sets me apart is my story. I'm willing to. We had Carlito out here for Thanksgiving. That literally was just, hey, I should make a trip out, and it turned into, hey, my family's doing Thanksgiving. Do you want to do it with us? And next thing you know, he's coming out to stay a couple days at my house. I don't know him from Adam and Eve, but we had a blast. We went out, we did a lot of shit, and we came back and slept. And he got a feel for what it's like running with Croft CNC. Those stories will live on in infamy, because to me that's daily life. Like I don't think anything different of it. But for people on the outside looking in, they're like, you're a madman. You do all this stuff. And it's like, I guess I do, and then they tell the stories to other people, and other people want to do it. I've already got 2 other guys that want to come out and stay at the house and hang out and talk and learn how to do stuff. And we're setting it up. We're going to have them here. Hopefully we'll be doing coffee and cuts, and we'll have them on as guests, but when you look at it, that is what the people are looking for. They can get my type of product on Etsy or at another craft show or something, what they're buying is the story. How hard do you work? Why do you work that hard? What is it that sets you apart? Well, I just told you, nothing sets my products apart other than the fact that I put together my machines. I upgrade my machines. I know my machines inside and out. I know why they're not working when they're not working, and I know why they're not working if they're not working. It's if you need to do a large format sign, I know how to put that together. I tend to help a lot of people put their projects together in terms of walking them through stuff. That's what sets me apart. That's what people are buying. They're buying that story of, this is a project that I worked on with a guy, and I had to clean up the file, so I cleaned it up, and here's the finished file, and I did the test carve to make sure that it was a good file, yada, yada, yada. My brother did logging, and he gets me wood chunks, and they were right here from Lycoming, Clinton County area. I made this piece. It was 2:00 in the morning. I was online. I saw something. I liked the phrase, so I made it into a sign. What were you doing up at 2:00 in the morning? I was working when others weren't. And it's just a constant barrage of what makes you different, and what makes you different is what makes you better. Okay. It sounds so easy. It sounds so stupid, but it really is. We've got, Ryan Rainier on here. We got Mike Giannetti on here. Mike builds custom vans. What sets Mike apart in building custom vans? Well, he's had some really, known vans from the 70s era that he can talk about how they were put together, and I know in the 70s they did it with sheet metal and Bondo, and I like that aspect of it, and I'm going to keep doing that. Ryan's putting together some projects, and this is how you can add bracing. I've seen Croft CNC do this way, but for me, I like doing it this way, and this is why, and this is what sets my product apart. At no point in time do I ever talk down about a business. But what I do is I make sure that people understand that I'm here for everybody, and because I'm here for everybody, they tend to come to that and say, well, if you're helping this guy out, then you're probably going to do good at helping me out. And that's big to me. We got doing updates on the Plasma today, getting a TMC 3-in-1 post processor to work with a Price CNC THC, since the Price CNC post doesn't seem to work. Copperhead Mike, what are you using? Sheet cam for your post processing for your cam toolpath? If that's the case, you might a TMC and a Price. You might be able to get away with a Fanuc post processor and utilizing the M3 M5 torch on off, and then have a micro or a macro set up for torch height control. Sounds like a long way around, and it really is. But that's actually how I use Arduinos to control a Plasma. Give me 1 second. Sitting here playing with my sinus. They changed torch on off in Mach 4. Isn't torch on off still M3 M5, or is it M7 M8 M9? You got me interested now. Now I got buy-in. See, that's what I'm talking about. I bought into his story. He told me about the upgrades he's doing. He looped me in, and now I gotta know. M62 and M63. Well, you should have, unless they assign that strictly to a plasma, you should have 3 on-offs. You should have an on clockwise, on counterclockwise, and off. And then a speed. I just messed up bad. While I was talking to you, I had a hangnail, and I decided to pull it and took the whole top of my nail off right to the nail bed. Ow. Damn it. That's really weird, Copperhead Mike. I don't know Mach 4 well enough to speak on it, but I'll try and do some research with you and see if I can't find anything and go from there. I mean, it might be something simple rather than something as difficult. But that's one of the things that you look at is right now he's building his machine. He's upgrading it. What's up, Steve? How are you doing this morning, sir? So Mike, are you sure it's a port? Because usually like a P4 is a dwell cycle. Usually a P4 is a dwell cycle, and I'm not sure why you have a P standing. You have a standing P. I'm such a kid. Anyways, yeah. Yeah, Mike, I'll have to do some research on that to understand that myself. Not quite sure what's up with that. But this is a prime example of our next topic is networking. When I do all of these shows, everybody knows I do a ton of shows a year. I cannot make it on just sitting on my butt not doing anything. I can't make it that way. I have to figure out where my next show is, how I'm going to get there, what am I going to put out. You know, I have a whole list of stuff that I do for shows. But what's nice about the shows is I get out there, I tell people my story, one thing leads into another, and they find out that I have so many capabilities that I end up with screens for screen printing gauges, you know, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't think that it would be that good, you know. And it's stuff like that you guys have to actually think about how you're going to do it and portray it when you guys set up your booths, because you're going to have such a vast network of people coming through. You want to grab attention right away, but you also want to you also want to go ahead and be approachable. You want to talk to people. You want to hear them. You don't want to just listen. You want to hear them. That's a big issue, you know. And try and get that concept down. And move forward from there. So, yeah, this has been a really rough show this morning. It wasn't that great. I'm not feeling the vibe. You guys got to get me on a rabbit hole. I have a rabbit hole that I want to hop down, but I don't want to hop down. It deals with 3D printing. It's a very sensitive subject, and I want to talk about it, but I haven't decided how to present the information yet. So we'll be looking at that conversation in a little bit, in a week or two. I guess what projects are we working on in the shop is the next question to answer. I've got my Christmas ornament series pumping out. I have people that order all the sets of the Christmas ornaments. We have some flags, some wooden flags we're doing. We have let's see. We just have a lot of stuff. I have some metal corbels that I'm doing. I'm pretty excited about doing those. And some coffee to drink. And then I got to make my wife's Christmas gifts. I am excited. I told Carlito about those, and he thinks that that's going to be awesome. So I'm going to do them. Yes, I am. But other than that, that's I'm not real busy this Christmas with custom orders, which is scary for me, but it's actually kind of not. It's kind of relieving, just because I have so much going on. It's one of those things. It's catch-22. I want to definitely make
Victoria Rose.
Well, that was my daughter. She's done at the doctor's. So Steve Rita says his second craft fair was very good. We haven't had many around here, Steve. So I'm anxious to see kind of what the new year brings as far as everything moving forward. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see and find our new niche. That's one of the big things, is finding your niche, especially after you have one. Where are you at with the others? So we have a few outdoor shows coming up. The biggest problem with the shows this close to Christmas for me is doing custom work. That's what I'm known for, and unless you're picking up, I can't guarantee you this year it will be there by Christmas. So that's a rough one for me. Oh, I don't know, guys. I got a lot to do today. I think I'm going to cut this one short. I'll try and have a script ready for tomorrow. Try to be in a better mood, try and have some stuff ready to go. It's rainy, it's dreary. I mean, do you guys have any topics you want to go over? I'll give you guys the next minute to post up some topics to talk about. Or I'm going to cut this one off because it seems like I don't have a very good following or interaction yet. Only Steve and Copperhead Mike are posting. Really want some guys out there. And all that. Steve, you don't have to go yet. We're not done yet unless you want it to be done. If you have a topic to discuss, let's put it out there. I think tomorrow I'm going to actually clip my nails and make sure that hangnail isn't bothering me. I'm really hung up on that. So, Steve says he has some flags for sale at the mall. Oh, we got some good stuff coming in. Okay, we got Steve saying, have a good day. Copperhead Mike, what all CNC groups is everyone in on Facebook? Oh, that's a good one. I haven't touched that subject yet, Mike. So I'm in like 500 groups. And that's just my CNC groups. The reason I'm in so many groups is I'm in Arduino groups, I'm in CNC mill groups, I'm in CNC lathe groups, I'm in router groups, laser groups, 3D printing groups, stuff like that. So some of my groups are the Everything XCarve group, the XCarve users groups. I have a Sunlu 3D printing and Ain't Nothing But a G Code group. I have the 7x XX CNC lathe group. That's a good one. The Rustic Flag Makers group for wooden flags. The CNC Plasma Tips and Tricks and the CNC Plasma Tips and Tricks Uncensored groups for CNC Plasma. They're great groups. Steve Armstrong from Bad Dog Metalworks runs one of them. And Austin Latnier, I think is how you pronounce his last name, runs the other one, I think. Those groups there they're the same people but different field, different environment. One's very technical, like Steve puts out some great tips and tricks on Inkscape and stuff. He's a real harbor of knowledge when it comes to like Inkscape, design work, and running a Mach 3 sheet cam based plasma. I think he has a Star Labs plasma machine. And Austin has a Star Labs also, but his group is more of a show and tell and a lighthearted play around, post what you're making group. Whereas Steve's group is more of a post what you're making, but say how you're making it. Okay. And go from there. Yep. So, those are some of them. The Everything X-Carve group is kind of my go-to every morning group. The CNC for newbie owners group is another one. The Millwright Mega V group is another one. I don't know. There's a couple of them out there. Like I said, I'm a member of so many of them. The CNC woodworking group is a good one. That's been popping up lately and moving around. Yeah, that's basically it. There's not many great ones that are above all else. I literally, it depends on what your flavor is. I like stuff like that. That's a great question. It's kind of loaded. Let me ask you this. What are some Facebook groups you guys are a part of? And I'll post them up as they come through in the comments. And we'll see if we can't get these Facebook groups to really hammer on recognizing the reach that we can have. Speaking of reach, I reached out to Sky One CNC, and I'm going to try and bring them up on Facebook. Let's see here. Sky One CNC. Okay. So Sky One CNC bits. We're going to screen share. I'm going to screen share these guys. What I want to do is do me a favor. Go over, give them a like, add them as a friend, give them a like. But I want you to send them a message and tell them that you heard about them from Coffee and Cuts with Chris in the morning. Because I want to try and get a CNC bit company to actually help sponsor some CNC bit packages. And a lot of people know that you have like Amana and Whiteside and stuff, but these are good economical bits. S1R CNC and stuff like that. Do me a favor, reach out to them, show them where you're coming from, and let them know that, like, hey, we watch Croft in the morning, and he wants to partner with somebody, and we'd like to see him partner with you. I want to see what they'll do, if they'll actually come through and do anything. Just as a test, just to see, and we'll go from there. But yeah, there's that. Okay. I have some flags being sold at the mall. Oh, that sounds cool. Steve's doing great things with his flags. Do you normally have a plan for shows to go to? No, I don't. I literally, this was this morning's plan. That was Irish coffee recipe, screen printing gauges, customer, and networking at shows. That anything outside of that is down the rabbit hole. But they didn't sell any this weekend, even with the Black Friday sales. The Black Friday sales were dismal this year. They were horrible. And I think what it is everybody is shopping online. I think everybody's shopping online. And when people shop online, that's where the small businesses lose, because people aren't going out to the craft fairs, the festivals, and the shows to see the products, the handmade products, and they end up ordering online. And if you're not buying ad space and you're not at the forefront of the technology curve, then you lose. Even though you may be able to provide them a very similar product in a timely manner in a local setting, you lose because they don't know you're there. And that's what it is. That's where it's at. There's a store that sells all locally handmade stuff. There's a couple of those stores around here, Steve, but typically they want such a commission, and it's hard. Everything is a catch-22 these days. You have a catch-22 on everything. It sounds like I'm bitching a lot, but it's difficult, especially for guys who make stuff that don't know how to run a business. That's where we have to come together and expand. That's why I do Coffee and Cuts. I want to showcase you guys. I want to talk to you guys. I want to have my thumb on the pulse of what's going on in the maker community, in the maker industry. You know, we've got people that are making great products. We've got guys that are putting out great content. We've got other guys that are doing great tutorials. You've got companies putting out product, the new CNC machines that are coming out. CNC for Newbies 4x8 rack and pinion machine is going to change the hobby situation. A pre-made rack and pinion machine for under $7,000 delivered in the States. You can process a full 4x8 panel. I don't even know what to say to that. You know, and it's stuff like that that we really need to have each other's backs, you know. And I say this, go out, like Sky One. Okay, here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. You go over, you like Sky One, and you send them a message. Hey, I heard about you on Coffee and Cuts with Chris, or Coffee and Cuts in the Morning with Croft CNC, whatever. Let them know where you found it. That might be able to forge me a path to say, hey, I've got a group of guys. I want to offer a bit kit at an extended discount rate to them. And can you pair with me on that? You know, it's stuff like that. And it's just so positive that they can't help but go, yeah, we want to be a part of that movement. You know, those are the people that we want to hit. We want to show that we care about them, you know, so on and so forth. I sell the files that I make, that I show you guys how to make. I sell on Etsy, but I give them to you guys for free because I want you to make money with them. And it might be the one sign that you start making that you're like, hey, we can really do something with this. You know, I'm going to try and do some more of that this coming year. I'm really going to focus on content creation, coffee and cuts. I want to upgrade that. I want to redo this whole room as a studio. I'm still going to call it the Doghouse Studio, and I want to upgrade it. But I want to bring better content to you guys. I want to be able to afford to fly guys out here and put them up and say, hey, come on, show us your stuff, interact with us, and get out to your type of people. That's what this is. This is a platform for everybody. You know, guys, I got to mute this real quick. I've got to talk to my daughter. She just got done with the doctors. I will literally be back in 5 minutes. Give me 5. Stick with me, please. I will be on here. I am going to mute my microphone because I don't know what needs to be talked about. But I don't want to end the session. So I'm going to put a be right back screen on, and you guys please post your comments and I'll keep them scrolling through while I talk. Okay. Thank you. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. My daughter was at the doctor's, had a mole removed. They didn't like the look of it. And now she has to go to the plastic surgeon to have a birthmark removed because they don't like the look of it. So not excited for her on that. She's had it since she was a baby. And yeah. So anyways, what this whole experiment is all about upgrading what we're doing for people, giving a platform for you to talk on. I mean, if you ever want to be on, all you got to do is reach out, send me a message. Hey, I want to be on Coffee and Cuts. I'll send you a link. You have to have a camera and microphone on your computer, or you have to have a cell phone that's capable of live streaming. Other than that, I'll get you hooked up and I'll give you a spot and you can talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about. John, I'm going to get you hooked up with Sky One CNC. Here's what it looks like on screen. There you go. They do bit manufacturing. Bit Resale. They're out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, so on and so forth. Now, what's funny is Copperhead Mike is on my Facebook showing me pictures of his new streaming studio or streaming setup. He doesn't really have a studio yet, but check that out. I like it. That's awesome. That right there is what it's all about. So there you go. It's actually Sky, SKY 1ONE, all one word, CNC. No, it's one of those things, Mike. I'm proud of you for setting that up, because a lot of guys don't realize how easy it can be to get in to doing this. We have StreamYard for lives, but I use OBS to do screen capture for my tutorials. Just simple design work. That's it. So, I don't know. What do you guys got? Shoot it out to me. If you got something and you want to be a part of it, let's do this. Mike got himself a great setup. That's what we are using is OBS. OBS is great for what it is. It's very powerful. You'll probably never use the full functionality of it. I use StreamYard because it allows me to broadcast to so many groups all at once without having to do multiple streams. That's why I like StreamYard. I use OBS whenever I'm recording my screen because it's so intuitive and easy. I have not been able to download my streams from StreamYard. I don't know why. I can't get them to download. So hopefully we can get that worked out. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. And we'll keep pushing. Anything else, guys? We didn't really talk about much this morning. It's been a pretty rough one. It's a Monday. It's cloudy. It's rainy. We got the storms moving in from down south up the valley. Oh, okay. We got Mark in here popping on with the last minute. Yes, I like it. I love it when I get those comments that make me want to stay on. This is a great plasma versus water jet. I get asked all the time, is your stuff water jet? My stuff is plasma cut or laser cut. That's what it is. I hand grind all of it to get all the dross off. Okay. Had a easy sand set up when we shrunk shops. Didn't need it, so we're back to doing it by hand. If I had my way about it, I definitely have an easy sand still set up, but that's just me. So plasma is an actual fuel. It's air that's stripped in a high compression like a diesel setup. Okay, the very elementary description, but basically, plasma is a fuel system. It uses a torch, and it cuts by superheating the air and forcing pressure behind it to blow the molten metal down almost like a cutting torch. Water jet uses water pressure, water pressure and abrasive sand to actually shoot and chip away at the edge of what you're trying to cut. Okay. Water jet holds a better tolerance, but it's also going to be much more expensive than plasma. Plasma is for a good plasma setup, you're going to be in about the same range as buying an initial entry-level water jet. Okay. That's not to say that the water jet is going to cost the same. That's just the water jet or the abrasive jet machines. Okay. There's much more that has to go into a water jet system, because you have abrasive, you have wiring, you have water, you have pumps, so you have electrical, you have a lot more upkeep, and it costs more per minute to run that machine than a plasma. My plasma machine is very capable. I actually don't use it for as much as I should. Like I could use it for more things. I just don't. And I wish I did. I wish I did do that. But it is what it is. So, if you want an inexpensive finished piece, you're looking at plasma process. If you want a highly toleranced piece, you are looking at a water jet. Post machining, if you're making rough cuts to be put on a mill or a lathe, you're going to want water jet, because plasma, it actually hardens through nitrate hardening. It hardens the edge of steel, which that is only about 5 thousandths thick, but you need to take an abrasive pass on it to be able to really get a good cut with an end mill and not dull that end mill quick. That's something that I found through when in years past when I would do motorcycle parts. I would send out and have a company plasma cut trees or anything, and then you put them on the mill and you waste a bit trying to get the nitrated edge to cut, whereas water jet, you just put it on there and run it. It's good. So me personally, I like plasma just because it's fully capable at home. I would like to pair with Waze and get a machine in here and show you guys a desktop water jet system. That way you could see firsthand what it looks like, how it cuts and everything. Copperhead Mike says we have a drum sander, and hand seems to be the best way. It takes a lot of passes in the drum to get it cleaned, at least for us. Yes. So Mike, one of the things with like the easy sands and the time savers is the ability to, they have a bristle wheel, and it's actually a 2 to 3 brush process. So they have a scrub wheel that scrubs first. They have a belt sander that actually sands the surface, and then they have a Scotch-Brite that puts the satin brush finish on the surface. That's why the drum sanders have such irregularities in them, and they're typically not stabilized on both sides, so you'll get head flex, and they move at a much slower pace than what an easy sand or anything like that does. For the drums, not necessarily the belt. Another thing is the sticky belt or the magnet belt for the easy sand and time savers are invaluable. That's what really helps these things. Mark Zarat from Zarat Steelworks, he has a time saver. I believe it's an Apex time saver. And he absolutely loves it. I know a couple guys. I think Steve Armstrong from Bad Dog Metalworks has one too. I think if you're doing any type of candy colors and stuff like that, and you want to do them quick, you need a time saver. If you're doing any type of stockpiling and inventorying, and you don't want to spend a month inventorying, that's what you need, is a time saver or a easy sand. Redline Steel uses two separate time savers. They actually have the 3-head time savers with the dust collectors. And what they'll do is so I actually understand how Redline Steel runs their plasma lines, and their powder coat jobs. Okay. Most people don't realize this, but Redline Steel has six plasma machines and 3 laser machines. They use their laser for stainless steel. They use their plasmas for regular steel. They use the time savers to run the steel through, and then they have an actual powder coat feed line for standardized colors. For custom colors, they will actually batch them out in custom color. So that's how they do their setup. Zarat Steelworks is a lot the same way, but they still do a lot of stuff by hand in terms of their powder coating in that. And their powder coat oven is not a huge industrial oven like Redline's. So for me, I actually appreciate the guys that do the powder coat work like you do and like I do and Mark does. Not that Redline Steel doesn't do a great job. I think it gives a little more personal touch to it. But if you were getting 20,000 orders a day, you couldn't keep up without industrializing your process. Remember, Colin, his father-in-law, his brother-in-law, all of them have plasma cutting business. They run the businesses together. Redline is kind of the culminator because Colin took his understanding of social media advertising and made a whole new level. And people are really mad at him in the industry. But I'm sitting here like, man, I wish I could shake his hand and get to know. Like, I don't hate on him at all. I think some of his business practices are questionable. You know, that was a rough one to really wrap my head around for me, and whatnot, from last Christmas's issue. For those of you that don't know, you can look up last Christmas. You can look up Redline Steel from last Christmas. I kind of know where he's at, and I'd like to think I know where he's at in terms of the man runs like 5 businesses, and in doing so, he doesn't have his finger on the pulse of the plasma cutting business. So he assumes that everything is running like clockwork. You know, and if the owner doesn't know that there's a problem, he can't fix the problem. Right. So yeah. And we could get the drum to finish out all the way. So Mike, the drum sander for you can buy a Scotch-Brite belt, okay? Or you buy like an 800 grit sanding belt. If you hand wire wheel everything to get the dross off, you can run that through your belt sander. And as long as you have a good control of your belt sander, you can actually get a great brushed finish. So just something to think about. What should my depth per pass be if I want to go down halfway through the wood without burning bit up using 1/4 inch end mill? John, there's a good starter. I told you about this. You go in, it's the Millwright CNC. Let's see here. There we go. Millwright CNC setup. We go to the feed rate calculator, 1/4 inch. I'm going to make an assumption that it's 2 flutes. We're going to go normal. I'm going to assume you're using an X-Carve with a DeWalt 611 router. So let's take that up to 16. We'll take that up to 16100. We're going to go in hardwood. And we're going to calculate. So your feed rate starting out, just starting out, your feed rate should be 74 inches per minute. Your depth of cut should be 80 thousandths. Okay. You should shoot for a chip load of 2 thousandths per tooth per pass. Okay. So John, the 16500 is not going to make much of a difference. So your depth of cut should be 80 thousandths, 0.080. You're then going to play around with your numbers. You're going to do a sample piece and make sure that is not giving you any chatter. It's giving you a good finish. You're not burning the wood, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Let's keep this going. I like this. This is where it's getting good. Let's see here. What do we got? John says, okay. Well, John, you can't just say okay. You gotta give some more feedback. Like, do you have any idea on hold downs, or is your machine too flimsy? So All right, guys. I think we're good. I'm gonna end this one. I hope you have a good one. Peace.